That hurts my head.
So I have to clock in as a doctor and I'm doing my summer work as I'm at the hospital. So it's fine.
All right. So, oh wait, is Falconer coming up?
Was he going to? Did you want him to?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
So him and I spoke a little while ago. This is about the Marshall document, right?
About the Marshall document and possible ideas of how to help them.
Absolutely. Let me text them. There we go, Faulkner. I take it you're blah, 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 blah. You're on Princess's cabinet. I think I haven't chatted with you since the last conversation.
Talking to me?
Murphy. Yeah.
Yeah, Murphy's my deputy mayor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, good choice.
Officially and everything.
Yeah, it's on the legislation. Crown Prince of Blaine County.
Oh, I didn't name him as Faulkner. Did you want to come up?
That always confuses me how you say that.
What, Faulkner?
Yeah, you like pronounce it. A lot of people, it's like Falconer. Like,
oh, it's Falconer? It's not Faulkner? Isn't it F-O-U?
No, it's F-A-L. It's Falcon. Shit. Like someone who trains falcons, a falconer.
Wait, am I tripping?
Like
why are there so many cigarettes right there?
Like the author, though. Those are left over from when I was on the city council.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Makes sense.
That actually does make sense.
Yeah, legend goes they stopped the bullets that were supposed to kill me that day.
Is it just about the funding for Marshals? Yeah. I'll say yeah. I figure best you're here, so I'm not speaking for you.
We're not going to be talking shit about the DOJ.
No.
Well, don't make promises you can't keep.
Well,
what kind of meeting is this? That's not what I signed up for.
Unless Michael talks, then yes.
Fair.
I didn't sign up for this.
All right.
So are we paying them?
Yeah, I was so I can while Faulkner is making his way up. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of background. So that everyone's kind of on the same page in case any details were missed along the way. Marshals, DOC, severed from the DOJ. Now, here's the bit that I didn't want to mention downstairs, and it is, I'm going to loosely touch on it and then kind of leave it at that. And I hope you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. Constitution was changed. The Marshals document and DOC document was changed. There's still impending legislation coming, right? There are some legislative holes that need resolving. To point as an example, you know, who's going to run the Marshals, who's going to run the DOC, it's unknown. Given that it is unknown, the original request by Barrett, which was reduce the impeachment cost, doesn't make any sense, right? Because we'd be applying a Band-Aid, and then tomorrow there could be a constitutional update. We don't know. And all of a sudden we have to roll things back. So instead, the recommendation was, Barrett, just have us give you money, put out a formal request so that you're not asking me directly, asking DOJ directly, asking, you know, Sama directly, asking Blaine County directly. Just put out the letter. We'll give you what you need for like a week, 2 weeks. Have it receipted. I just talked to Faulkner about that. Is you know, give them money. They just receipt us what they spent it on. We'll call it a day.
Okay, so this is a stopgap budget measure, not a long-term solution.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
I'm more okay with it now than I was after I first read it. Now that I know that this isn't, you know, this isn't the plan.
Well, if the legislation goes into place and there is another method, like they're get payment from the state or something, is there going to be a reimbursement maybe for the money that the counties front?
I don't think we should expect the reimbursement. I do think that the way that I would argue it, and I don't expect everyone to necessarily buy into this, is the marshals are a necessary component for the safety of the state, for the safety of both of our counties. We do have separate budgets, so I think we shouldn't necessarily have to pay the same amount. It could be, I think, DOJ, Los Santos County can foot the majority of it, say like 80%, right?
Yeah.
You know, Sama maybe 5%, you know, Blaine County maybe 15. I'm just spitballing numbers. We should assume that money is going to be gone, right? It's spent for the marshal protection over the next 2 weeks. If they're able to reimburse back, all the better, but I don't think we should assume that's going to happen, you know? That's
Okay.
it might, but
A forgivable loan.
What
yeah.
about well, I need to ask that. I'm for DOC. Currently, Blaine County is just paying them. Not much, but they're getting paid by Blaine County. Should we assume that we'll just foot that for now? Keep it on, like, you know, we can't give them any pay raises for the next little bit of time until they fix things. But then that'll just come from Blaine County for the time being.
For the salaries, yeah. So the way it was set up before was we gave the DOC like a business bank account and a budget, whereas the marshals would just ask, like, they would pay out of pocket and then get reimbursed. They didn't have like a budget they would pull from. So I think the DOC, in terms of a budget, still have some money from when they used to be under us. So I don't know if they'll need a budget injection like this.
But they still need to get paid.
Yeah. How much is it right now? Let's see.
It tends to be like like $100,000 a week. That's, and they've been calling us a lot, saying, "Hey, can we get higher pay?"
This last week it was 150K.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should definitely ask for that breakdown. If it makes sense to reduce their pay or whatever, that's something we could probably assess. I have no problem with that. I think
it
my
makes
biggest
sense to increase their pay. They're not getting paid anything really. I mean,
wait, the marshals?
No, the DOC.
The DOC.
Oh, DOC. My bad. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Get 625 and all.
Which they were getting an additional 1,200 per hour before the email chain got changed from the state, but now they're not getting that either.
Yeah.
Purely because like no one set up the system in the new email chain. So.
And do we have some sort of timeline for them sorting their shit out?
They're not sorting their shit out. The impediment is state officials. But some aspects of the conversation, I think, there's probably a lot that needs to be sorted out at that level. But some of that, I'm not. You know, you got to give them time to cook.
It could be like 2 or 3 weeks.
Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like spitballing. Like it could be a matter of weeks, not days, before they sort this shit.
It could be tomorrow. It could be. I suspect it's probably within the week or two, right?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah. So I don't think this is a long-term gap. I think this is more of a, they've been cooked for a week. They need to continue functioning. I think the last thing anything wants is for them to dissipate. So I think this kind of probably makes sense. I think they're requesting, what, 2.5? What was the letter say?
2.4 is 900K plus 1.5.
2.4, so what would that be? Like if that's $1 million from the DOJ and myself. And then like Blaine, that would be what? 375.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want, if it's not like a crazy amount, that's not crazy. I can do more of an more even split for that.
Yeah.
If it were like 10 million, I'd have to be like, okay,
No.
let's chill out a little bit.
That's why when I heard 2.5, I'm like, between the 4 legislative authorities, like, this is like not huge, especially if we split it out reasonably.
Yeah. And where does that go? Do they have an account now?
So I emailed Barrett after talking to Faulkner, the recommendation, have them just make a temporary account. We send it to that, and it should come with receipting too, because we need to know where it's being spent, because we're giving them money, right? So
I mean, I could make the we could do the business right now, and then I could transfer the ownership to Barrett if that works. Just so we're not waiting on him to wake up.
Hey, good by me.
Yeah, I'll see if it's a business account, that'll be easier.
How
much did you say you wanted Sama to up front on that?
I think 5%. Wait, do you have a budget? Like, where does your money come from?
So, we have a medical account, which currently I don't have access to when I'm signed in as Sama director.
Wait, what?
That's another thing.
Yeah,
that I'm trying
the
to get
Sama
fixed.
director like sign-in role is it's fucked. She doesn't have MDT access when she's signed in as the director.
Can we give her keys to a cabinet?
Yeah, I could.
I wonder if that works, because I don't think that would. Wait, or does it? I don't know how that shit works. Like, so isn't there keys and then there's like access?
So keys. So MDT access is all done in the MDT. It doesn't matter what keys you have. The keys determines how you get paid, what keys you have to what doors, and if you can have an MDT with you anywhere.
So if we put her on the cabinet, then I don't mind paying for it. I just, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
What's your state ID, Perry?
1699.
Bro, this is crazy.
Okay, I made you a deputy mayor. I believe they have.
That should be fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have access to all the reports and legislation, all that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, you can make state announcements too.
Yeah.
Wait,
so,
deputy mayor can make state announcements now? I didn't think that was a thing before.
Hey, just be careful.
I mean, I'm not going to really, but I'm just
smart.
That wasn't a thing before.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, and then.
Nino taking care of his fiance. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I can do when I'm signing a Sama.
Really?
It's state announcements. That, and I feel like I can also possibly approve scraps items and some of the business stuff downstairs.
Oh, lovely.
So, I'm like a clerk, but not really.
Do you make money though? Like so when we say 5%, like where's that money coming?
The hospital, right?
Wait, what? That's it?
That sounds like a lot.
Damn.
We literally have the medical account, which is literally the only one that goes into that is from bandage sales. Currently.
Whoa.
How many bandages do you sell? I mean, I guess the plague has to be a big boost for that.
And then there's also the thing of I'm technically held back by how much I can give out of that account because of legislation in Cantor wrote, which is 50k a month.
Just get rid of it.
50k a month.
Yeah. So if it goes above 50k, I have to ask approval from the chief of EMS and one of the board of directors. And myself.
Sounds overly complicated.
What?
Yeah, there's legislation. Have a look. It's the healthcare. I forgot what it's called.
Can't you repeal it? Just like
$50,000 is crazy work. That's like crazy work.
Yep.
Which legislation is this?
Feed a family of 4 for a day.
It's the I think it's like the healthcare. It's to do with the medical account. but I just can't remember the name of the
Oh
legislation.
my
right now.
god.
Health savings allocation.
That's it. Health savings and allocation.
That's such crazy.
Repeal this shit. This is fucking dog shit.
Yeah, is there like a full exploration we could do to realign with the times in terms of budget and things that have been passed in the past like that? Like,
The
I
problem
made some
with
changes to Andy's legislation about budget just because I was told we can't have a treasurer, and so having the limitation that Blaine County mayor can only use money from the account if it is passed through the treasurer means that it's impossible to use any money.
Yeah,
If
it's just
Cantor-
like the economy is way different than when a lot of this stuff was
Oh, yeah.
written.
I mean, Cantor enacted this, Perry. You have every right to repeal it and change it.
That's what I might do. Other than
just
the
amend it.
bandage,
Mhm.
other than the bandage sales, we get like per prescription of like oxy and that is $400 per oxy prescription. Because it's split 60 40. 60 to the pharmacist, 40 to the
Well, so do you need
the
that stuff
hospital.
covered? I mean, because I can do the 20%.
Sorry, I was on the phone. What legislation is like awful?
Health savings allocation. It's very, let's say, out of date, Murray. Out of touch with the economy of today.
she needs to request anything over
Huh.
$50,000.
Requested from who?
That's what I'm
The-
saying.
Directors that don't show up.
Oh, wonderful.
and
Yeah.
also the chief of EMS.
For reasons.
Okay, I guess I can understand the chief of EMS.
Yeah, the rest is just cooked.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's just yep, agreed.
Was this written when 50k was a lot of money, or?
Must have been.
I think
well,
so.
I mean, no, it
It
was
was
written
50K.
based on when the board was around. So they're basing it on the economy they're
Like
familiar
6
with.
years ago?
Yeah.
I was like,
Well-
and like currently, like in the medical account, we literally have like 2 mil. So
People are usually well behind the curve when it comes to economic changes and resistant to build policy without having like 100% of the new information. So it's always a slow slog through that stuff. Always playing catch up with that.
yeah.
How about we just have the three of us pay and not Summer? I think that's probably makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Or you could do $1 or 50,000, Harry.
Yeah, just do 50,000.
I would do that.
At a high level, just so everyone is familiar, the reason why I encourage Barrett to do this way is it's important. I know they're freaking out, right? But it was important for things to be transparent. So even though individually you may be trying to do the right thing by making sure they get money, is that it doesn't turn into some bullshit where someone's like, oh my God, money's being misappropriated and we're buying out the Marshals. You know what I mean? Which we can stand here and be like, we know we're not doing it, but it's better to be, you get what I'm saying. So
It's better that one entity does not foot the bill.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I want to put at least a little bit towards it because
But me and Murray will have primary custody over the Marshals. Just, that was a joke. No one's laughing.
Summer can get them on weekends.
I thought I was getting on weekends. Fine.
Yeah.
Just on Saturdays is fine.
I also imagine is not the best. I mean, we can discuss it at length some other time, Nino, but I still want to figure out the whole potentially changing the way that the police are making money compared to, fines and stuff. What goes to the mayor's office? What goes to...
Oh, I agree.
Police.
I look, if you want my honest opinion, I think as the person who talked to Soze, who convinced the state to make those accounts, the intention was that they work for what they get. And I think it's turned into a video game for them where they're utilizing it to arrest the fuck out of people with the highest amount of fines to unlock a bunch of vehicles. I would love to see fuck their accounts, get rid of them. Don't get rid of them. Actually, take the money in the accounts. And I think the fines should be going to the counties, and that the sheriff and the chief come to us and give us a budget. You know what I mean? I think that makes more sense. Like they come.
I don't even know much about the gamification kind of side of things, but I just, it's like I said a million times, Blaine County needs some method of making money. Otherwise, we just can't support ourselves.
Yep, I agree. Wait, are you in favor of us controlling the PD accounts? I thought that's what you were recommending. I may have misunderstood.
So what? Say that again.
Are you in favor of the counties managing the PD budgets? In other words, the money comes to. Yeah, I agree. I think inherently that's how every county everywhere works, right? It's restitution is paid to the counties, and now all of a sudden, because right now, technically speaking, the PD does not provide any value to us.
Right.
Like, because what do? They arrest somebody. Who gets the restitution? They could blow up. They could blow up my office. They could blow up your office, and who fixes it? We don't get the money, but when they're charged, right? Where's our restitution?
When did that start going directly to the departments?
Nino's fault, right?
Well, kind of. So I'll tell you what was supposed to. I'm going to argue we had a lot of bad actors the first term. And I'm not going to go into too much more detail than that. But I can tell you that when I spoke to Soze about it, the issue was the way that the paychecks used to work is where you are working is where you get the stamps. And we wanted to give the PD more shit, right? Make it more, let's just say, fun for them, for lack of a better word. And the idea was they get money into the budget, and then they can say, like, okay, cadets are going to get paid $1,000 an hour. A captain is going to get paid this amount. If they do this thing, they get, so you know what? So they internally manage their own budgets because that's cool, right? And then it didn't work out because of bad actors. But we'll just leave it at that.
Well, and then we've got we pay a certain amount every week, for, giving rehab to locals. When the police charge them, we pay for that, and then we pay the police's paychecks, and then we pay for the EMS when they have all that stuff. Like, they're not paying anything, but they're the ones making the money.
Yeah, which may well be functional in LS. Who knows? Like, it's a bigger set of numbers, but it doesn't, but maybe it could. But from our perspective in Blaine, it clearly does not work, and probably never will.
No.
Yeah.
And then it makes for more interesting conversations between, let's say, Princess and myself, where it's like, we're diverting these resources, we're looking for this, but right now there is no restitution to the county. It's just this is gonna sound weird, it's not intended to. The current system encourages over policing and overcharging because that's how you get paid more. And if instead, when someone goes to jail, it's affecting our budget and affecting how policing operates, there is an inherent need to police well. I'm going to go even further and say, Murray, like when people are suing the PD, I meant like the other day, there was the doc one or whatever. I think that the counties will just say, oh, LSPD's being sued. I should have to send my DA in and they should be suing the county. And I should come in and say, listen, my PD fucked up. Listen, we'll give you fucking $2 million. Let's call it a thing. Or I don't agree. It's $2 million. We're going to send in our attorney. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the current, and I'll say, it's been made very clear during the sheriff interviews that the fact that the PD makes all their own money for this kind of stuff, and we're still paying them, it makes them very much feel like they're completely independent, like they are a branch of government as opposed to a law enforcement, agency that is underneath the county and underneath the county's mayor. They think that they've got full autonomy and can do whatever they want. And if they want to, go against what the mayor says, they've got the right to just say, like, okay, well, we disagree with you, and so we're just going to not listen to you. We'll just pay ourselves.
Yeah, they're like, who cares? We still get our vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're changing it? Who cares? I still can go out there, send, our bozo into the middle of Grove Street, get in a shootout. That 78's call is a new engine.
Yeah. Not to air any laundry, but of all of the interviews that we did of sheriffs, we did like 10 interviews, one person responded to the question of, like, what do you do if the mayor asks you to do something?
I am so glad Princess
or
won.
asks you to make a change in your department.
We never fed her this information. She gets it.
I would make that change. Everyone else said, no, I would refuse.
Double down, I think, was used a couple times.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
well, I'm sorry. What I was screaming internally at how much I agree with what you're saying. What did you just? What was the last thing you mentioned?
Of every sheriff applicant, of all like 10, one person responded to the question of, if the mayor asks you to make some change in your department, do you do that? Only one person said yes. Everyone else, every other applicant said no. I would refuse to do what the mayor told me to do.
Yeah, that's cooked.
Yeah. And I think what we phrased the question as is like, if you had to lay off half the department because we literally can't afford to pay them, what do you do? And they said, I would refuse.
Yeah, Yeah.
I guess
It's for a pretty easy application process.
Yeah, you'd think.
I made the Marshals business request that one of you guys could approve.
I have a random question.
Nino's got it.
Somewhat related, somewhat unrelated. Is there any way for Blaine County to make the prison financially, useful for us?
I
work
genuinely
programs and things like that?
I think sorry to cut you off there. The Marshall DOC thing is, given the shakiness of what may or may not happen, it may be best to wait to see what that picture looks like. Because
but I mean, like, in a midterm sort of picture, for Blaine County, it would make sense, given our budget challenges, if the prison were a moneymaker for us in some way, shape, or form, rather than
state
sponge.
Jurisdiction is the problem.
Yeah, it's been refused to us before.
So you'd have to change the jurisdiction of the penitentiary for that to even be possible.
Or pass a statewide law with both counties.
Yeah.
But, like, in theory, in the nuts and bolts of it, would it be possible to make it somehow a valuable asset?
Oh my God!
Controls it?
Does the prison make money?
It does.
No,
it takes money.
The lumber union was purchased very recently, and there was a dream. Unfortunately, did not come to fruition.
The industrial complex thing.
Yes. Foxconn 2.0. Princess, let's take over the prison and have them stop making cell phones.
They've been doing it, but they've been getting refused, and now what Gary just got told that he owes like $1.6 million to the Marshals because of a deal he made so that the prisoners could get blueprints so they could produce lockpicks.
Man, I wonder who wrote that contract.
That's crazy.
I mean, all that sounds pretty promising. I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
No.
In terms of
You're right, though.
You know, money in, money out. Like prison is, you know, the biggest business we have in the North. Technically, like it's the biggest potential opportunity that I can see to increase our budget and increase our inflow.
The way I see it too is these lifers are not citizens, and if they can do labor for the state, for the counties, right, that's a benefit to everybody, right?
Except for them.
You
Yeah,
just
but
don't want to,
you know,
force them into it.
well, you know, optional, you know what I mean? Like if you want, we could give them better food programs, you know what I mean? So in China, if you work for Foxconn, they got different housing facilities, and depending on your performance, you, your family, your children, and the schools you go to in that Foxconn compound, you get better.
They were doing that under Gary.
Yeah.
It was what was it? I forget what he called it. Starts with a T. I forget what the word was, but they had like levels, and the lifers who were working in the warehouse would gain levels of some, I forget what it was,
access.
something program.
Yeah.
But they would get access to more things. They would get better housing. They would get better food and stuff. Gary was doing all of that, but now he's not even running for warden.
Jesus. Hey.
Yeah, maybe
I think
can
it's a good
ask
idea.
Elon about that sort of stuff.
Oh my God,
Let's percolate
Jesus.
on this. It's a good jumping off point.
But Elon was in a Chinese rehabilitation camp for 7 months. And now he's not corrupt. So.
Oh my God! I thought you were making a Musk joke. I forgot.
No. The names are similar.
Elon. I was like, what?
Apparently, he's seen Dan Chase stay in that camp.
Jesus. I think anything that creates more of vibrance, I'm down for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So okay. Anything else you want to chat about? Michael and I got a lot of homework, I guess.
Just to come to conclusion on it, we're all good with the stopgap. We don't have any issues with that letter and honoring the request.
Yeah.
And how much we're doing? What I'm doing, 400K. You guys are each doing $1 million.
20%.
Or
Yeah.
what was it?
Yeah. Yes, you're doing 400 and we're doing $1 million each.
Yeah, and I'll go to the bank right now and get the account number for the business, and then
Easy.
Okay.
once it's all transferred, I'll put the business over in Barrett's name.
Can we agree to a joint? Sama should send is sending 50K, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And can we agree that we're gonna say that they need to receipt us for sake of transparency? So if something's weird or off, you know, we can scrutinize it.
Yeah.
All right.
And sending 50K is a great way to start the conversation about amending that fucking appropriations for the
bro.
Like don't you have the right to just like say no? Like you can just repeal that, or is that just a mayor thing?
She does. No, she can do that.
Yeah.
Well,
I can do that, but then there's the thing of I'm gonna have to watch that account like a fucking hawk because every single doctor in EMS has access to that account.
Wait, actually?
Yes,
so
that's
weird.
the only way I can see the account.
What if there's a secret way we can get multiple people on a business account then?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why can't I have a treasurer then? Because apparently there's no way to have someone else have access to the Blaine County account.
I was like, no, because
Oh.
this is like the state account, and like, for some reason it's all the doctors and all the EMS.
I
the only
think
thing you can do is transfer money out from it.
Yeah, I think Princess, the reason is because you and I are on the hook, and if there was someone else, it might be more confusing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's also the reason for that is that whoever has access, like if we get a treasurer, the only position that exists is state treasurer, so they'd have access to all the accounts.
Oh, interesting.
Because there's no way to have someone have access to only the Blaine County account. Like, I'm happy to be on the hook if I choose someone, just so that I have someone who can transfer money if I'm not present, or who can do, like, you know, weekly send the screenshot to Murray about the stuff that the DOJ pays for and stuff like that. But I can't do that because I can't have anyone be able to access Blaine County account unless they can access all of them.
True.
Actually, Murray, could I ask a favor?
Sure.
Oh shit, we need to
Could we
get on
make a summer
Brian
business
soon.
account? That only basically the next summer director can see.
I need to
Yeah,
get
sure.
out of here because I gotta fly out in 40 minutes and I gotta steal Michael. You guys need me for anything else?
No.
All right.
No, I
Hey.
think we're good.
Hell yeah. All right.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, we're gonna have bill legislation coming up soon. TLDR. We're gonna be requesting a optional alternative to passing legislation. The bills are gonna effectively be a change log. The full description is gonna be in the document. So when it hits y'all's desk, if you have any questions, we can like set up a meeting for it. But we think it is going to be the most efficient, clear means by which we can change charges in the penal code or make updates to legislation without the mess we are solely creating. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So just to give a high-level preview, EMP gun, we can do bill number 563, EMP guns are illegal. And then in it, it's like adding penal code, fine and time. And it gets categorized in its own section on the left-hand side. And it could be like, updating the weapon registration. Does that kind of make sense? So
Yeah, instead of just being bombarded with all these acronyms and extraneous information.
Yeah, I like the acronyms.
Big
Joe
beefy.
Schmo on the street can
Yeah.
look at the tracker and just
Yeah.
get like what they need to know right now.
exactly. It's just like, and then on top of that, let's say we want to turn like 5 pieces of legislation into one. It would be one bill that contains, here's what's happening. And then the legislation acts as the codified piece of document. But
Yeah,
we're
refer
going
to this or that for more info.
Mhm.
exactly, with references. We're going to make it only optional so that we're not forcing this down everyone's throat, but using it as a mechanism to start showing how it could work. And then, bada bing, bada boom.
Refine. Yeah,
Yep,
refine
exactly.
over time.
All right.
As a test subject, Nino, I will say that coming back and being inundated with all the legislation that I had to catch up on is very cumbersome process. So it sounds good to me.
Yep. Hell yeah.
I think it
My
should be
bad.
Where else do I
easy
make
to
my
know what you need
acronyms?
to know.
Oh, we can still have the acronyms inside articles.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
that's
makes
why
sense.
it's not going to be a requirement, right? We don't want to impose it on everyone, but I think once people see what we kind of have in our mind, it's going to be
Oh,
as the kids say,
you saw-
pog.
Yes.
Is it called the TLDR Act?
That would be funny.
Yes.
I like that.
Mason Crew with the whole amendment to the FOIA legislation that he called AIDS, which
This is
acronyms.
the first
But
time hearing of it.
yes, this is something that Mason Crew brought to Nino and then brought to me.
Oh, I don't
because
know
he
about
thinks
this.
that people should be able to. He says he sent it to you. It's a proposed amendment because he says that people should be able to FOIA like complaints that have been made against a certain officer or deputy to see how many there have been or if there's a pattern.
I think he overcooked a little bit on that.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with the general position. Oh, this is a much bigger conversation.
We can do it some other time. Just
yeah.
wanted to know if you saw it.
Yep. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys.
Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.
Princess,
Okay.
do you approve?
I just realized it's like 5 p.m. And I want to do this before my brain shuts off.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The first couple hours are the best time to cook on legislation. After that, it's just, it's just rip.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of my body that wants to chase